Hello everybody and welcome. This is Adrian and today we're going to be taking a look at Imperator Rome, the new historical grand strategy game by Paradox Development Studio. Paradox was kind enough to provide me with an early access copy to the game, set to release on April 25th, 2019. After playing a tutorial as Rome, I decided I would jump into the game as the country of Epirus, the home of Pyrrhus of Epirus, the famed Greek commander who invaded Italy in the Pyrrhic War, and a second cousin of Alexander the Great. I desired to replicate some of the success of Pyrrhus, who held multiple titles in his life, including King of Epirus, King of Macedonia, and Tyrant of Syracuse, although he did not hold each title at the same time. The campaign began in 304 BC, with Pyrrhus of Epirus as King of Epirus and just 15 years old. In 302 BC, with the 17-year-old Pyrrhus at the helm, the island of Corcyra was conquered. After 3 years of fabricating claims and gaining the northern Illyrian country of Taulantia as an ally, I invaded our southern neighbor Acarnania in 299 BC. He was defended by Elis, Leprean, and Messenia. After 3 years of war, in 296 BC, Acarnania was annexed. We then entered a long period of peace and prosperity as the successor kingdoms of Thrace, the Seleucids, Macedon, Egypt, and Phrygia waged war on each other. However, in 284 BC, Epirus was back on the warpath as we invaded our northern neighbor of Taulantia with 24,000 men, betraying our ally Messenia in the south. After just 1 year of war, we fully annexed Taulantia and their territory in the province Illyria Graeca, as well as seizing the city of Kephallonia from the Messenians. Just 1 year later, in 282 BC, we invaded the Illyrian tribe of Abria and seized what they owned of Illyria Graeca in a swift war. Quickly becoming prosperous from external trade and peace, we bolstered our fleet to a staggering 24 triremes and set our sights west. The time came for the Pyrrhic War to begin. In 278 BC, with Pyrrhus at the helm, an army of 24,000 Epirites and a fleet of 24 triremes invaded the tribal Messapians in Tarentum, defended by Lucania and the Greeks of Croton. Although their warriors were fierce and their numbers frightening, they were no match for Pyrrhus and Epirus steel, and just a year later, in 277 BC, Messapian Tarentum was annexed and Epirus became a regional power. Just a few months after the conquest of the Messapians, we marched against Apulia with 28,000 men, who were defended by the Bruttians and the Greeks of Heraclea, who happened to be at war with the Roman Republic. Over 2 years of war passed when a sudden development occurred in 275 BC. Heraclea annexed almost a fifth of Roman Italy. With the stakes loaded, Pyrrhus made the final thrust towards victory, and in 274 BC, Apulia and Heraclea were fully annexed, with Epirus now owning a fourth of Italy. In just a few years, Epirus became one of the strongest powers in the Mediterranean. Over 13 years of peace and prosperity would pass for Epirus, which bolstered its army to 44,000 men. In 261 BC, Epirus invaded the Lucanians, who were defended by the Greeks of Croton. A swift victory was achieved, and the cities of Thurii and Croton were annexed. Pyrrhus, still not yet satisfied with his conquests, set his sights on Macedon. Formerly a friendly kingdom, Macedon had become estranged from Epirus and grew closer to Ptolemaic Egypt. With Pyrrhus eager to make his mark on history, just as Alexander the Great did, Pyrrhus prepared for war. The time would come in 257 BC as Pyrrhus, commanding a staggering force of 64,000 men, one of the largest in the Western world, invaded Macedonian Aetolia and northern Macedonia. Fighting was extremely fierce, and Epirus suffered significant losses at the hands of Macedon and Ptolemaic Egypt. However, after over 2 years of war, Macedon was bled of men and boys for the armies and resorted to using mercenaries, and Egypt being plunged into civil war. The Epirate navy maintained control of the seas, and the tide turned against the Macedonians. After 4 more years of bloody struggle and an Epirate occupation of Macedon and a blockade of Egypt, most of Macedon outside of the Peloponnese was annexed by Pyrrhus, now king of one of the most vast domains in the west. However, he appreciated his height for only a few months, for he died and was succeeded in 251 BC by his son Spalirus, who, although in command of the army, was contested for the throne by his brothers. Further catastrophe struck when the Roman Republic, eager to unite Italy and saying the division of Epirus, declared war and moved their vast armies into Epirate Italy. Spalirus, rallying his pretender brothers and every Epirate man and boy capable of bearing arms, moved to meet the Roman threat, the very existence of Greek civilization hanging in the balance. Although the Emperor Nemi dominated the seas, and Epirus still delivering defeat after defeat upon the Romans, the Latins kept advancing and eventually occupied all of Epirate Italy. Epirus and her men would resist for over 7 years, waging a war the likes of which the Western world had never seen. But alas, defeat would come in 244 BC with the complete annexation of Epirate Italy by the Roman Republic. Although Spalirus still ruled over most of mainland Greece, Epirus was now but a shadow of its former self, and it was clear to the Greek world that the Romans were the new dominant power in the West. Phrygia and the Seleucid Empire had disintegrated, and Ptolemaic Egypt was engulfed in its frequent civil wars. The future belonged to the Latins. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed this video of me playing as Epirus in Imperator Rome, and it was some of the most fun I've had in a long time with a Paradox Grand Strategy game. Stay tuned for more Imperator Rome content. Thank you so much for watching as always, and I'll see you guys in the next video.